Read Spider-Man Crawl Space Edition. Check us out over at the SpiderManCrawlspace.com. Well, everybody, I'm here, of course, to review Amazing Spider-Man 69, better known as 963 in legacy numbers. I mean, after all, we're only one more issue away and we get to go back to a number one. Isn't that just jolly and wonderful? So I want to, of course, do it on, of course, the penultimate chapter before the conclusion of Eight Deaths of Spider-Man by Joe Kelly and Ed McGuiness. So, how did the next before the last issue here hits us in a couple weeks to wrap up, of course, everything? Well, I'll just say, everybody, beware the Ides of March. Let's get to the pros, of course. So, the first of all, pros. As many people have said, this has actually been a really good story, like for Cyra, the daughter of Cytterak, one of the scions here. There's been quite the journey since we got introduced to her way back in issue part 4 of this storyline with the twins, with her and Calyx and everything. And I really do like the fact that how we've really had an arc with her. She's had the most character build. She's had the most areas how to live and how she's been on the pieces too. And I do like the fact of what's happened is she's seen, her world fall apart and everything, and her brother become consumed by the blight and everything. You really do feel like her. She feels like out of this entire story, like she's had the most done to her character and everything. And even though I don't know how this story arc's going to end quite yet, I don't think some really good, because honestly, I think this is probably the most work that's been done with her. And I really do like the fact that we kind of finally do get an answer. Why has Cytterak been sitting there like a guy sitting on his chair streaming Disney Plus? Well, the fact is, one thing that happened is he's been actually experiencing emotional from everything that's happened to the Covenant for the first time, and actually why the Scions did with things. Since the Blight actually feeds off people's emotions and everything, as a result, Cytterak has, of course, felt lost. When he feels lost, he's paralyzed for all the things that has happened in the Champions and two. In a way, it makes sense. This is a character that's been around for about 60 years, and this is definitely an interesting thing where they throw the emotional piece on him. The fact that he can't move, except, of course, when, Kane Marco, of course, yelled at him in his in his one shot a couple of weeks ago about him getting off his butt and actually doing something. It actually got enough an emotional response to actually move his hand and flick him away. It's very interesting and so forth, but at the same time, this really has not done much with the arc. I do like the fact that we finally got some things like Doctor Doom actually coming in here explaining what had happened with the story, and the fact that he was actually poked Spider-Man because he figured it needs to be broken and stuff in Cytterak. And I do like the fact that Strange gets in his face. I mean, this is going under one world under Doom current storyline, and we see Doom, and the fact that he tells him as a Sorcerer Supreme with his power, he has basically failed in that, letting the Blight, of course, fall on everything on there. And in fact, it's a really good thing because I've already explained right now in a little bit of an arc of exactly how Doom is probably going to lose his powers and the abilities to be the Sorcerer Supreme of Earth, as he failed with the Blight and let that oath. I also do like the fact that Cyra actually, how Spider-Man comes back to life. She actually takes the immortality to exchange to actually bring back Peter, and actually has used her powers. It's actually an interesting twist in the power. Instead of getting an extra read or an extra piece to come back to life, she basically treats to basically stop being immortal, and the fact that somebody immortal can live through that. It's actually a very interesting concept, and the artwork actually is very well done by Ed McGuiness about all this leading to it. But that's really where this all starts. Is right now, guys, doesn't this sound like it's a made up storyline, a Doctor Strange storyline, an X-Men story? Yeah, that's the problem, especially when you get into Cytterak. The fact that all these years, the fact that he was immobile because he was paralyzed because he felt lost, and the fact he saw his children killed, the fact that he saw all this other things that was going on, that's why he's not moved. That's the excuse why he's not been doing anything this entire line. No, I'm sorry. This is a guy who, even when he sat on the throne, did a lot of stuff. He did his areas. He put on the stuff. He would talk back, and he would actually get up and do things. Now, Cytterak has gone through some changes over the years. Jack Kirby originally, when he did the designs, kind of did similar to the Juggernaut helmet and everything. This, of course, was the man. But we've seen various pieces of him getting on the chair, and the fact he's been very, very piece on this too about here. He will react, no problem. The fact that all of a sudden he feels lost and because he felt love first, yeah, that's complete crap. And like I said, it also makes a complete use here. We had the one shot about, of course, Kane Mark on what he's been currently doing that got everything. He's fighting the X-Men, but they've barely done nothing in this storyline. If something that feels like an X-Men storyline, they're not even in the storyline either. It seems to be a problem with the book here. It says Amazing Spider-Man, but Spider-Man story is he's barely been in it the last 2 issues. He's been dead. And even more to it, this is a storyline, like I said, is left over from X-Men storylines from Joe Kelly never got to do in the late 90s. And the fact that after everything with the science here, they're all left to die. And like I said, that's it. I can understand a father losing a child, just like a parent, any parent, mother or father losing a child is very painful. But Cytterak has seen loss. He's had other children. This has been thing. And the fact that he can't do it, it makes really sense. Even more too when we finally actually find out, like with the feast of Randy and Shay and Aunt May, were we dead? I don't know. If we were dead, we'd be terrified. Well, where's Peter? I don't know. We can't worry about Peter right now. It's like the writer is actually saying, yeah, don't worry about Peter. It has nothing to do with the storyline. And don't worry, because no longer to fight and defeat the Blight, especially Calyx, don't worry. We now have Spider-Man as the Juggernaut. The Spider-Knot is here, which we knew was spoiled a couple months ago from the cover. Like I said, this doesn't not feel like a Spider-Man story. Technically, it doesn't even feel like an X-Men story. It does feel like a mystical story. Like, does it fit in Doctor Strange? Yes. In a small sense, I could see this even fit into Fantastic Four or at least a Bloodstone or something, or Blade. This storyline, I'm glad, is almost over. The fact that out of everything here, Kara has been the only character we've both had arcs, character development, pieces, emotional work, plot uses, and everything else. And that's the character that comes out of this is Kara. What? This isn't a story. This is not good. In fact, I've got to give this a grade D. If it wasn't for McGuinness's artwork or the fact that I actually like that character and I do love the mystical side of cynicism, this story would probably get an F from me. I'm sorry, but this has really just been such a placeholder of a storyline over things. And if this is what we're going to probably see more in Amazing Spider-Man, I'm not having a lot of hope for Joe Kelly's regular run when it starts next month here. So there's not much else to say that everybody else, but I would like to thank you for everybody's joining and the new subscribers have joined the channel. Think if you like this, of course, like and subscribe, of course, and set that notification bell here so you can get ready for my next reviews as they'll be coming up very soon. And for more, please check us out at the SpidermanCrawlspace.com for all your latest Spider-Man news, reviews, and more, and some of the best discussions on Discord and memes and everything else. And with that note, everybody, I will see everybody later on the crawl space.